What's good, Chicago? This is your boy Kahlief here. We're here E3 2019. I'm here, my man, my mellow, the smoothest kind of fellow, one of my favorite people in the industry, Aaron Greenberg from Xbox. How you doing, sir?
I'm great. What an introduction. Thank you. Have to take you everywhere.
I'm saying, man, we got to get you in here and get you live with everybody home in Chicago, everybody home at Spawn on Me Land. So we are here at the big show. Super excited to have you here with us again. You've had a phenomenal presser. This presser was on point. I think a lot of folks who were worried or kind of thinking about, like, what is Xbox going to bring to the table this year? Are they going to come with the heat? I feel like you guys have done it and done it in a really big way. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's great to hear the feedback. I mean, we work incredibly hard on the show. I think we tried to bring a really, really big show. I mean, to show up with 60 games, our biggest first-party game showing. We had 14 games from Xbox Game Studios. It's great. We had over half of the games are coming to Game Pass at launch. So, yeah, from a size of number of games and all that was definitely there. But we know people want to hear about, the next-gen console. We covered that. People want to hear about what we're doing in cloud streaming. We tried to cover that. We definitely wanted to also talk not just to console gamers, but really invite PC gamers to become part of the show. We had some news for them with PC Game Pass, with things like Flight Sim or Age, things like that. So we really tried to build a show for all gamers and really invite everyone in. And hopefully people liked what we did.
It felt like one of those shows where you did kind of bring everyone into the fold, right? You were trying to make sure that you had both the core folks you already had brought along with you, and definitely always trying to bring in new people into the ecosystem with things like that. What was the kind of major focus around just throwing just super amounts of games at everybody? Because that was the thing that when they heard the number, when Phil kind of said it on stage, everyone in the crowd kind of was like, what are you talking about? How are you going to have that many in this amount of time?
Well, we knew Sony wasn't going to be here this year, so we knew we were going to be the big show. And also, with even our business, we've evolved from being a device-centric brand to really Xbox being player-centric. And we want to allow people to play the games they want with the people they want anywhere they want. And as part of that, we want to be able to people to be able to stay connected. If you're playing on a PC, playing on a console, you want gaming on the go with a mobile device. So as we're really thinking about evolving our content and being player-centric, we wanted to have that come out in the briefing as well. The fact is, being the one big show also allowed us to curate something. We had a lot of third-party partners came to us, a lot of indie devs came to us with a lot of content, and so it was great. We got to put a lot more games in our show than we typically did. At the same time, we have doubled the number of our internal game studios over the last year, so to be able to open with 4 Xbox Game Studios titles, open with The Outer Worlds, unveil Bleeding Edge as a second thing, and basically do 4 games even before Phil came out was something we haven't been able to do before. So it was fun. It's fun to kind of do something different every year, and this was definitely a special one.
It feels like that's now a part of the conversation every time you guys have a big press conference, is like, what studio is going to be coming into the fold now? It was really dope to see Tim Schafer rock the stage with you all from Double Fine. I think that was something that went over really well in the crowd. Everybody was really excited about that. How do you feel about getting to work with Tim in that way?
Oh man, that's like a dream. I mean, we've grown up playing Psychonauts and Brutal Legends and Brutal Legend, all their games over the years, and so. Yeah, Tim's awesome. I mean, the other part of this is just like, how do we keep stuff secret? We know that fans, whether they're here or they're watching at home, like they want to be surprised. Yeah. And so it was great we were able to keep that a secret. It's been fun getting to know Tim, even just in rehearsals and some of the prep work back and forth. They are so creative, so talented. By the way, they're also extremely funny. I don't know if people have seen the 2 videos they put up on their own site, which is hysterical. We were in tears watching them. We were laughing so hard. And then what he said on stage about his commitment to being part of game studios, and I think he said I'd make Halo games, Forza games, Excel. I think in some of the rehearsals he mentioned Minesweeper DLC. I mean, he's just, the guy could be a stand-up comedian, also happens to be a great game designer and a great studio head. And yeah, it's awesome. And to show Psychonauts 2, I think people are really excited about that, and another great addition that we can add to Game Pass as part of this. So it's fun, really talented creative teams like that, giving them the freedom to go make the games they want to make without having to, fly around the world and try to pitch people to fund their games, is one of the really nice things about growing our creative studios.
One of the things I really loved about the kind of overarching kind of strategy is that when you have Game Pass there, now you have kind of PC Ultimate in the mix too. One of the things I sat in the crowd and thought was like, oh, this the game that I might have seen right here is something that I might not necessarily is usually in my wheelhouse. But now that it's basically free to me per underneath this umbrella, I will absolutely try this stuff out. What's been the kind of conversation that you've heard from gamers when talking about this stuff, about them being more open to kind of other games they might not have even played before?
Yeah, I mean, that was the vision, was that we wanted you to be able to sit in the briefing if you were a Game Pass member to basically go, oh, I get that game for free. I get that game for free. I get that game for free. And this is the first briefing. You know, Game Pass has now grown to be the leading subscription service in gaming. And so to be able to take that and then add a new service for PC gamers and then put those all together with Xbox Live Gold, with Ultimate, it's just, you know, it's listening to our fans. And this is really, whether it's the developers or the gamers on the PC or on the console, or like many of us that play on both, you know, it was great to be able to deliver that. I mean, what's coming out of that is, if you're an indie dev, you're able to reach a whole new audience of gamers that really, a lot of cases, wouldn't necessarily see or play your game. We've had breakout hits. Human Fall Flat's just one example, is something that, you know, a lot of people probably wouldn't have played if they didn't discover it in Game Pass. And that's why you see us talk a lot about discovery and kind of discovering and finding your next favorite game, because with over 100 new games and new games every month, that is kind of the fun of Game Pass, plus every one of our first-party games premiering at launch.
Speaking, I'm going to go back a step and talk about keeping everything secret. We got to talk about Keanu, because that was nuts. That was craziness. Everybody in the room freaked out, including myself. I was like, what is Keanu doing on the stage right now? How nuts was it to try to keep all that under wraps? And how fun was it to kind of just work with him behind the scenes and get all that stuff done?
Yeah, that was, you never know how these things are going to turn out. That's all I can say. You know, we do a lot of prep and a lot of rehearsal. And then, you know, we just, you know, we use code names, and we had somebody standing in for him, and we did not refer to him as his name. So even people on my team were like, I didn't know it was Keanu. I saw the rehearsals, but, you know, you kept calling him Mr. Something. It was something else. But and then suddenly that morning they were like, oh my God, you know. But it was fun. I was sitting with the fans when Keanu was just revealed as a character in the game. People started screaming, they were jumping up and down, and I'm just thinking to myself, oh, just wait. And sure enough, and we wanted to make sure we built like a great entrance, and really, you could even, like, when you saw the smoke and the shadow, you were like, oh, wow, that is Keanu. And then, listen, like, when he came out, I think he was equally surprised at, like, the passion and excitement from the fans. Absolutely. And someone like that goes, you know, from entertainment thing to premiere, etc., like, any stage, nobody can compare with the passion of gamers. And, you know, you watch the Oscars or the Grammys or you name it, this is unmatched. And I think he was, you know, impressed. And one of our biggest fans yelled out, "You're breathtaking." And he yelled back, and now that's become like the meme of E3, which is just awesome. It's really fun. We were talking last night at a little thing with my team, and like family members, and, you know, by the way, the only thing my wife posted about E3 was Keanu Reeves. But we've suddenly realized it is Keanu Reeves by which we are all connected.
I feel so.
Yeah.
It feels like that at this point. It feels like we are all Keanu and he's all us in the same way. And some, you know, you want that good energy to be what you kind of embody in a lot of ways. Yeah. So shout out to Keanu for that. Yeah. That was a great moment. I want to talk about xCloud. One of the things I was really excited about was hearing the kind of conversation about using your own box at home as basically an xCloud server. What was the idea of kind of going that route? Because I know you're having all these conversations about cloud gaming. Stadia is now a thing. PlayStation Now has been a thing for a little bit, or for a while now. When you were thinking about kind of having that be a version of how that cloud compute is going to work, what was the kind of thoughts behind that?
Well, we've always thought of just streaming and all of that as something additive, as a choice and a new thing. You want gaming on the go. How can I experience that? You know, if I don't own a console, I want to be able to experience console-like gaming on the go, on my mobile phone, etc. To be able for us to put things like, basically put a console on a rack in a server and allow you to stream that anywhere, you know, that opens up our games to a whole larger audience. But also, you know, because of our hybrid gaming architecture, we know a lot of people have invested in a console, have invested in a library of games. And so to be able to enable you to stream those games from your home on the go every game for free. Developers don't have to do any work. Like, that's pretty awesome. And so that's another kind of benefit of that, and gives you kind of that gaming on the go capability. So it's just, gives you more value for the investment you made in your console. And for people that haven't done that, of course, we can offer that opportunity through xCloud as well. And for some people, they're like, hey, I just want to play games in my living room. I just want to play games on my PC. That's okay, too. We're just giving people more choices. We're not trying to tell you to do one thing or another. And I just think as gaming evolves and is reaching more and more people, Phil talked about 2 billion people are playing video games now around the world. We are excited to deliver more of those experiences to more and more people.
The other secondary part of that I thought folks would be talking about or kind of worried about when it comes to the cloud is security, right? So you're opening up your box to a certain extent to have other people kind of cloud compute off of it to be able to stream the games that we're all going to be playing. What are your thoughts about, how you're all going to think about and kind of talk about addressing those concerns? And also the other one that kind of bit Stadia in the butt the other week was the conversations about like how much is it going to take and kind of tax my home network, what's that going to do for my data cap? Is any of that kind of conversation happening in ways that you're kind of sharing out future looking in terms of that for folks?
Yeah, I mean, we have some of the brightest minds working on this, and of course, you can imagine at Microsoft, we put safety and security, extremely high. We're leveraging for xCloud, we're leveraging our Azure, cloud infrastructure that is, really best in class around the world. We have more servers and more capabilities than really, almost any other company in the world. The fact is I think for a lot of people, if you want the best high fidelity gaming experience in your living room, you're going to want a dedicated gaming device. So I just think you're not going to be able to compete with that through a cloud solution. So for us, we really believe, hey, that's why we're investing in things like Project Scarlett, delivering a next generation console that can continue to build, faster, more processing power, better frame rates, you name it, for the next generation of games. So for us, the cloud is really about extending that outside of the living room and giving you that option for gaming on the go, whether it's from your home console that basically becomes a server. It's intended for you to be able to use it for yourself, not to be, open it up, if that makes sense. And then also with xCloud from basically a console in the cloud.
Cool. Last xCloud question. One of the things I love about the ecosystem that Xbox has is Mixer. Is there any way that the cloud is going to help folks on that end of the spectrum with any of the things that they're doing on the streaming side from that end?
That's a good question. I haven't thought about that. I'm not sure. I mean, the team there, they have a large team thinking about evolving Mixer and the capabilities there. I mean, I know there's some matchmaking benefits, and then there's some things that people might do around creating unique games in the cloud, but I'm not sure for streaming and Mixer in particular, but that'd be a good question for them.
I'll poke those folks when I get a chance. Yes. Last things, Scarlett is going to be coming in 2020. Super excited about that. How excited are you to kind of get this thing out in the world? We're one step closer with everything kind of being on the stage this year and that conversation happening.
Well, I will tell you, it feels so, I mean, I love my Xbox One X. It's been great to have the world's most powerful console to deliver, true 4K gaming. And that's been great. And that's always been about largely, how do we add more power? And it's been about the graphics and the fidelity. But as we think about the next generation, yes, there'll be more processing power. But speed, with the SSD, we can actually enable games to load 40 times faster. That's a huge jump from what we get today. Games today, in many ways, are even architected around load times. And so how do we kind of make that go away? In addition to, hey, 4K is here. Sure, we can be 8K capable. Fine. If you have an 8K TV, we will be 8K capable. But we really we think the innovation is around speed, the ultra high speed gaming. And then, that increase in processing power means you're going to go from 30 frames to 60 frames to 120 frames per second. And so that level of quality from a console is really just going to be unmatched. And then with us, of course, we give you all the backward compatibility. So Project Scarlett will have 4 generations of backward compatibility, which has really never existed for a new console.
That's fantastic stuff. Last question before I let you go. What does Xbox body spray smell like? What does it smell like? Does it smell really good? Does it smell like juniper berries? Does it smell like Keanu's hair? What does Xbox body spray smell like?
Yeah, we have a lot of fun in what we do. Let me just tell you that. Our team in Australia is extremely creative. They are the most fun team in Xbox, and they have partnered with the equivalent of Axe down there in Australia, and they actually have an Xbox branded personal care line. Listen, we definitely want to promote personal care in general, like, you know. But they brought me some to try. I promised. I used it the night before the briefing. Very fresh, very tingly. It felt great. I felt very clean, and I felt fresh. And I would say it was what you wanted from a personal care product. Yeah. I only use the I'm probably way oversharing now. No, yeah, exactly. I only use I didn't use the deodorant. Yes. I just used the body wash. And it was green, and it just felt great. I felt like I was living my best life, and my best Xbox life. And
confirmed there are at least 24 teraflops of clean in the Axe body spray and all that good stuff. Aaron, so good to see you, man. Always good to hang out with you, fam. Always good to see you doing these wonderful things with Xbox and seeing just how far everything has come. And hopefully we'll be able to check with you a little bit later once everything kind of gets shared out to the world and everybody can actually get their hands on stuff.
Anytime. I'm a big fan of what you do, Kahlief, and the whole Spawn on Me crew and your community. So keep doing what you're doing, and anytime, I'm happy to come on.
Thank you, fam. Everybody, this is me. I'm hanging out. It's Kahlief. Hey, I'm hanging out with Aaron Greenberg. E3 2019. We'll see you in a little bit. Peace.